Today I have a treat on HTR on air. I have the Commander-in-Chief of Connellsville, the one and only Greg Lincoln. So Greg, it's I've been trying to get you here on HTR on air now for about 6 months.
I was gonna say it's been a while, so I'm actually very excited to be actually sitting here doing this with you tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. This will be fun. I want people of Connellsville to know you how I know you. I mean, I would say most of Connellsville loves you. I'm sure not everybody loves you because not everyone loves me. And if you get in a political circle, you're going to find people that don't just don't see things the way you see them.
Yeah, I'll say that we call them haters. It doesn't matter what you do or say, or I mean, literally, they're going to hate you no matter what.
You can't please
it's a shame.
everybody.
You can't please everyone. That's one thing I've been learning over the 6 years that I've been doing this, and it's tough. It's a tough thing to learn, but I'm getting there.
Well, in the political circle, you have to have a thick skin because not everyone's going to appreciate you for what you do. And
yeah, my skin is definitely not thick enough yet. I definitely I feel a lot of the stress of it all, and sometimes it really does get to me, and I need to take a little break, and that's why I try to go to snaps every day and exercise for at least an hour to get some of the stress of the day off, because it definitely helps. It definitely helps me.
Well, I've known you for years and years. I mean, I went to school with your one brother, Billy. Your other brother, Greg, went to school with my brother. I've known you coming in here. Jerry. Yeah. They're all over the place. Yeah.
Well, to me, this is like a full circle moment, okay? Because, growing up, Hutchins was always here. I wasn't old enough yet when you were spinning records out here all the time, and everybody was coming out here, and so when I turned 21, that kind of like started fading away. But we used to just hang out at the bar, and I mean, this was our spot. This has always been the spot. I love it at Hutchins, and your family has always been. I mean, they've known me since birth, so it's really cool to be sitting down here and doing this with you, because I know this is your thing, and I love it.
You know what? I've known you for like you said, for years and years, and I'm proud of you, buddy. I mean, you've done a job in this town that I remember looking around and seeing I don't want to bust anybody up or even get political on things, but I would get frustrated that nothing was ever being done, and everyone, like you said, there's going to be haters. Everyone's going to have an opinion and think that you should did more or did other things or whatever. But that doesn't matter. The fact you've done what you've done, to me, is a small miracle.
Well, thankfully, it has. I've had a lot of help. The last 6 years has been, coming into this, was our financial state was really bad. And we've worked extremely hard to get out of that. I mean, really. I mean, I think this past year we've had like $10,000 surplus, which is not a lot of money, but it's huge from when I came in.
There's no surplus.
Starting out with $675,000 TAN loan that we couldn't pay. We were just basically taking a TAN loan to pay off the last TAN loan. Like, we weren't using that money. So we're now a bunch to the point where I mean, it's amazing to tighten all of our department heads and just everybody understands that we're in a small city and that every dollar counts, and we got to stretch it all. And we just got done last week. We've spent about $170,000 in paving this year, which, I mean, I get excited. People don't, they think it's funny, but you seeing a paved street is a huge deal, because that means that your state is you're okay, you're good, you're not worried about other things, and that's what's wonderful, is that when I came into it, we hadn't paved the road in 6 years because they just didn't have the money to do it. And now, we're the last 3 years we've probably $150,000, $170,000 every year. So we're catching back up on our infrastructure. That's a huge deal for the city.
Right.
And everything's kind of falling in place, and it's cool to sit back and watch, because we got so many people that are working very hard to make sure Connellsville doesn't go back that way.
Right.
But we want to keep continuing forward, and we got people calling on a regular basis looking for commercial space and want to open businesses, and that's a really cool thing to sit back and say, hey, people actually want to live in Connellsville and they want to do business in Connellsville, and that's what every day. It's every day for me. I mean, I don't know how to. I have one switch, it's on, and I don't know how to turn it off, and that's definitely a disadvantage for me. But I just.
But it's an advantage for Connellsville.
I believe in the city so much. I really do. I mean, that's why I try my very, very best to positively promote everything. I want everybody to be involved. I don't care who you are, or where you live, or how much money you have in your pocket. If you want to do something to help Connellsville, please, I mean, come, because we need it. We will take it. And we do. We have all different types of people that help, and it's cool to see, just to go through town. I mean, the city decided to start up our farmers market. Downtown Connellsville used to do it.
Right.
They weren't really getting too much participation. So they decided this summer that they weren't going to do it. So we decided we're trying to repurpose our East Side Fire Hall back into a community building, since we no longer have a paid fire department and it's a building sitting there. So we opened this up and had a farmers market. We had 20 vendors. We had, it was really cool to see. People came down and they shopped and they got their veggies and their fruit and bought things and had a nice morning in town. And that's the goal of it all, is we have stuff going on all the time in Connellsville now. So the word is getting out. We're not sitting back and just not doing anything. We want people to come in and visit us and come and see how great of a little town we have, and the hopes of they'll continue to come back, tell their friends, maybe they want to move. We have a lot of housing, turnover, that people were, starting out in a small house. Now they got families and they're moving up to a bigger house, and now, it's just,
Sure.
It's a good turnover of people coming in and out.
Well, there is a lot of empty houses and things that can be renovated around here, because, there was a bustling population 30 years ago, and now it's due to. I mean, you had your hands full trying to pick up the pieces after all the industry left and everything, and I applaud you.
Yeah, I mean, when Anchor Hawking started going, that really, that was a devastation to us in the city, in the Connellsville area.
I'm a small business owner, and I business has never been the same.
It just, we're a landlocked city. I mean, South Connellsville's the same thing. They're landlocked, so we don't have the space for factories and all that. So we're dependent now on, of course, the small business owner. The Great Allegheny Passage bike trail has been a godsend to us, and people finally have bought into that, and it really is bringing in large amounts of money to their community every year. 7-8 months out of the year, those bikers are coming from all over the world, and they're in town. They're stopping to have lunch. They're shopping. They're staying at the hotel. They're staying at bed and breakfast. Soon we're going to have, probably in 2020, we're going to have a hostel down on the west side,
right,
which is going to be a great thing to have.
Sure.
We're doing everything we can to show people that staying in Connellsville, you're going to have a better time here than you would maybe down in West Newton. Because that's kind of like what's going on now. Everybody stays in West Newton, or they go to Ohio Powell or go to Confluence. Which, of course, I'm not trying to take away from them, but we're just all we're all just trying to survive.
Why not jump in the river with all of them? Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. It's just it's one of those things. But, we have this gorgeous river that we're finally, slowly, taking advantage of. I mean, people wish they had a river like that.
I remember years ago when it was Dave Trumbull, right, who was proposing the bike trail and everything, and everyone was like, "What? Everyone's a skeptic." And I was like, "Wow, it can't hurt," and that's the wave of the future. And let's, why is everyone down on this? I mean, anything that's a plus is a plus.
Yeah, you know what it is? I'd say it's called backwards thinking. People are still stuck 25 years ago thinking the things that worked then are still going to work now, and it's just not how it is. I wish it was. It's just not, and we have to adapt. If you don't adapt, you die. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to show these people from out of town how great it is in Connellsville, and how the outdoors amenities that we have with the bike trail and the river. People just wish they had what we had. I mean, they really do. I mean, that river's clean. You can fish. I mean, with the General Braddock's Fish Club, who now they're stocking, 15, 20,000 trout in that river, our section of the river, every year. So I mean, if you like to fish, you're not going to find a better place to come and get on the Yawk River here in Connellsville and fish, and you're going to have a good time with it. I mean, you can spend a whole weekend in Connellsville and do all different things. I mean, we've got Falling Waters, we got High Palace Big Park that's 20-30 minute drive from Connellsville. That's another Fayette County a great asset that we have in Fayette County, and which we all benefit. You know, Connellsville benefits, Uniontown benefits with their hotels that they have, and I think the future looks good for us right now.
Well, yeah, outdoor sports and younger people, older people didn't appreciate that kind of thing because that wasn't, things weren't geared to that now. But now it seems like that's what people like to do. They like to hike. They want to be outdoors. Before that wasn't a thing.
Oh no. Another thing is it's safe. The trail is a pretty safe means of activity too. And you have cell service probably from Connellsville at least, I don't know, 6 miles, 7 miles towards High Up Powell, and you have service. I mean, so it's like for most of the trip, the whole way to the 17-mile journey, you have self-service. So I mean, it's safe. And the Yawk River Trail Council, which is all volunteer group in Connellsville. I mean, they maintain 25 miles of that trail. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, of course I haven't seen the whole trail, but I can say that the part that they do, no one does it like they do, because when bikers come through, the trail is smooth, and it's not like you're like four-wheeling on your bicycle on the trail. But when you get to the Connellsville section that they maintain, it is the top of
I don't wish to make this sound like a Connellsville infomercial either, because this is an interview of you.
Right.
But there is something that I was always concerned about, was the safety of the bike trail. Like, how safe is the bike trail? We're beside a highway. We hear the traffic.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, we just had a.
How safe is that bike trail?
I mean, that was like somebody hit the sound man.
A little sampler.
We have. I mean, of course, I'm not knocking on wood because I don't want to jinx it, but we haven't had any really major issues on the trail. Like out on our part, if somebody calls 911, our police can drive right up on that trail with their cars.
Right.
We can go both ways. I mean, they have the keys to get to the gate that takes you towards High Up Powell. We can go that way, or we can go any. I mean, the state police has the same access to the trail.
And you're right next to the trail, the police station.
It's instant. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then we have Fayette EMS, which is they have a hub right in the city too. So if there's any medical emergencies, I mean, a few minutes they're going to be on scene.
So that's a big plus.
Yes, definitely.
I wasn't trying to put a negative aspect or a negative spin on anything, but people are concerned about those sort of things.
Well, I mean, I do find it amazing when people go by themselves. You always see bikers traveling alone, and anything can happen. I mean, you can have a medical emergency. You can have your bike could break down, and you're in the middle of nowhere. And
anything.
You know what I mean?
Wild animal.
Yes, anything. So that's always, it definitely would be a concern of mine.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the other programs you have in Connellsville right now. Like I have up the your City of Connellsville page that has you with a blood drive. Is that current? August 16th, 2019. Okay. Was that how did that go?
I think that blood drive was a few months ago.
August 16th, 2019.
Oh, that was on Friday. Okay, I wasn't aware of the blood drive. I know there was an individual who was having a blood drive at her company.
Well, let me put it. Maybe it's a combination of several pictures in one thing, because it says photos. It says Friday, August 16th. Now, what is this about? What is this about? Oh, the time capsule.
Yes, that is a very cool thing that's about to happen in a couple weeks at the library. When the school district sold the Southside Elementary School to the Rittenhour family, they kind of forgot that there was a time capsule in the cornerstone of the building.
Was there anything in it?
Well, we will find out. We'll find out in 2 weeks. It's actually sealed. We're going to have to actually cut it open to get it open. But Chelsea, immediately when they got to that point, apparently they were demolishing the building, they contacted me and wanted to make sure that the city got the time capsule.
How cool is that?
So we have the cornerstone, we have the time capsule. The really cool thing is our city treasurer, Marilyn Weaver, her mother is who put the time capsule in the cornerstone when they had the ceremony in 1966. And it was in memory of her father, who was on the school board for 24 years, that had recently had passed away. So Marilyn has the original program from the ceremony that she's having framed. It will be on.
See, I knew none of this. This is great.
Excuse me. On August 28th this month, at the library, 5 o'clock, they're going to do a re-grand opening of the museum that they have in the auditorium. It's awesome. If you've not been up there, it's just cool to see Connellsville. All the Connellsville history is in that room. I know they're working actually going to add they're going to do a little section for Scott Lacey. They're going to get a guitar and his picture, and he deserved it.
I saw he was it Forbes magazine or
the Clarks just did, they did a thing on their, I think it was on how they marketed their marketing strategy as a local rock band.
Right.
But yeah, so the time capsule is about as big as an ammunition container, and so Marilyn is going to, of course, she's going to be there, give a little bit of historical background and do the opening. There was a girl a female, she was a student there at the time and actually put something in the time capsule. So she's still here in Connellsville. She's going to be at the ceremony, so she's really excited to see the rest of the contents of the container of the time capsule. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun night. Armstrong is going to come and videotape it. And I really do think it's going to be a nice little feature to get people to come to the library, because that library is like one of the really great assets we have.
Nobody videotapes anymore, Greg.
Well, they're gonna
video it.
They're gonna video they're gonna video.
I do say
and then
I say
put it on their local programming, and then they'll have it on their YouTube channel. So anyone that's not actually in the area anymore, they'll have an opportunity to see it. Especially if you went to Southside. I'm hoping we get a lot of former students and teachers that come out, because that school really was a neighborhood school, and it's very. I'm still bitter over losing that building. Believe me, that was one school that we definitely never wanted to lose, and it's unfortunate, but life goes on, and hopefully soon we're going to have new housing out there, and it'll increase the tax base for the city, and that's will be the positive of it.
Yeah, but to have that just fall into your lap, the time capsule thing, that's great.
We've had it in our vault at City Hall for a year.
Oh, okay.
So we've been waiting for the perfect time to do it. So when we decided to open their museum, because I always wanted to do the library, because I think 2 years ago the library had a time capsule in their cornerstone at the property, and they had a big ceremony. It was really cool. John Malone did a wonderful job setting that up, and it was a fun night. So I'm really looking forward to that building is full of history, and so it's going to be pretty cool to see the contents of that, and then they'll have it on display at their museum, and anybody can come and go up there and take a free look and see if there's something that they, maybe a relative or somebody to put in there that they know.
It's cool. I have the Connellsville Area Historical Museum grand reopening here on Facebook.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah, August 28th. I hope the community comes out for that. It's going to be a really, really fun historic night.
That's on the rec board page. Tell me more about some of the programs with the rec board. I know you do a lot of different things. There's the flea market.
Well, this weekend is the city's second farmers market is this Saturday. We're doing it from 8 to 1. We got his and her markets coming, and Leedy's Farm. They're coming back again. They were here the first time. It was great to have all the vegetables and whatnot. And this time, Christian Clay Winery is going to be there. We got the Yakigani Coffee Company is going to come and set up and sell coffee and pastries, and we have the various crafts vendors and flea market items, and so I'm excited for it, because once we're piecemealing this building back to life, the Eastside Fire Hall. We just replaced the roof this summer. Now we have money. We've been getting money from the county for their LSA money, which is the gambling tax. So this year we're going to do the windows and the doors in the building, and then we're putting in to redo the plumbing in the building and then the wiring.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, our hopes is that, of course, the garage area is going to be just a place for parties or whatever anybody would want to rent space out. The first floor we want to do a conference center, because we really don't have any conference centers in the city. So we want to basically have a nice state-of-the-art conference center that businesses and groups can come into town, rent space, and then when they want to take lunch or take dinner, they can go out to eat and spend their money locally. I mean, everything that I do is I want people to come into town.
Sure.
Because one of the reasons why we survive is because of local small business owners. They support everything. We're doing Tangled Up and Brew in October. That's one thing that Leanne and I, that's the only really event that we put all our efforts in, because all the money raised goes back into our parks. Last year we raised $26,000 for our parks, and that money basically is what they get to use for the next year, and then we don't have to use taxpayer money to make improvements.
How many parks are there?
10. We have 10 city parks.
Okay.
So, and the cool thing this year is when people come to York Park for the Tangled Up and Brew, we're going to have all new, we're putting all new tin roofs on our pavilions, our concession stand, our stage, and a little gazebo there. So they're going to get to see their money with their
At work.
they're going to see that it's true. You know, we've put 16 cameras down at Yawk Park. We've put 15 cameras, 16 cameras down at East Park. So, and we're doing all this with non-taxpayer money. You know, and that's what I've been trying to do is, you know, because we only have so much money. When we do our budgets, we gotta be very creative on our money, and so doing these fundraisers, and that's why I put something and I do so much effort to get sponsors and get people to come and spend money, is because I know that money is our lifeblood for our parks. And
Well, I've only been to one of the Tangled Up and Brews. It was the first one. I was actually a judge, if you remember.
yes, well, you also donate gift certificates every year, and that's another bonus that we have.
I do that every year, as a matter
Yes,
of fact. Matter of
yes.
fact, I've been sitting here shamelessly with my shameless plug for my Tangled Up and Brew donation here that I wanted to.
You know, we do really do like a taste of.
Present,
Oh,
yeah.
well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, that's
Thank
for the
you.
Chinese. If you win it, come into Hutch's and enjoy a steak and a beverage and our hospitality. But this isn't about Hutch's. This is about Connellsville and my buddy Greg. So.
Well, I have to tell you, you know, that's the cool thing is that that's one of our most sought after Tangled Up and Brew stuff. We do like a tour of Connellsville restaurants, and you can win all these gift certificates, different ones. So it's nice to have quality restaurants in that basket.
Well, every year I like to give something. I remember the first year you guys were, it was in its infancy, and you were looking for a judge, and I said I would do it, and you had a couple of judges that were accredited judges show up. They left early, and I had to be. I was sitting there, and I don't know if it was you that came to me or somebody who said, Albie, you have to make the decision on who the winner is. I'm like,
Well, you probably are half drunk too, because we don't realize when you do if you're
At
a judge,
least.
all those beers you have to sample a little bit
Right.
of each beer, and I mean they're high alcohol content beers too. That's the other thing.
I do remember there was a chili beer that was freakish because it tasted exactly like chili, which you expect chili beer to taste like a hot chili pepper.
Right.
This tasted like beans and.
Well, I think that brewer actually every year brings that
Does he?
brew, one of his brews. Because most brewers that come, they bring 2 or 3 their own brews. I mean, I have to tell you, I mean, if you like craft beer, and it's a fun night. You know, this year, Laura Hunn's Brewing's coming back, and we're going to have Helltown's coming back to give out samples. One of our home brewers, Mike Fahey, he actually is now a head brewer for White Horse Brewing, which is a really cool little thing about Tangled Up and Brew, that somebody actually who's doing the home brewing actually made it to the big time. And so he's bringing that brewery's coming, and we're working on a couple more.
See, I'd love to come, but it's on a Saturday night, and I can never get
I
away
know.
from the restaurant.
It's
I'm
always
stuck
we've
here.
always done.
I understand.
Yeah, we've always done it on Saturday night. Well, you just have to maybe only work till 8:30, and you have your assistant take over, and you come down for an hour and hang out with us till on the end of the evening. Because that's when
if
Leanne and I will
possible.
actually be able to drink a beer during that time, because we're just running around like crazy trying to encourage people to spend money.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a great night.
It's our 6th year. October 5th is the date. It's from 6 to 10. It's definitely one of the best.
Now you have lodging, right? Though.
Well, the hotel's next door,
Right,
which
before-
I'm hoping this week to get either a block of room rates or something where they'll do a discount with the ticket, which we'll be announcing that soon on our Tangled Up and Brew Facebook page. So if you have not liked that page, that's where all the information will be. You can buy tickets at City Hall. You can buy them at Atkins Music Center, and also at Real Heart Scottsdale hardware store. Wes Patton, actually, if you are looking to get into home brewing, go out to see him at Real Hearts. He has a whole home brewing section. It's amazing.
I've
to
heard
see.
that.
I mean, he is. I mean, the thing is, he's from Scottsdale, and he has helped us. He brews, and he also has helped us every single year that we've done this. That the rec board has done this. I mean, this guy is top notch, and we wouldn't be able to do it without his support. He sells all these tickets for us. He donates Chinese auction items, and he brings beer. There's nothing.
What else?
He's a trifecta for us, and I will always appreciate his help with that. Believe me, because it's a big deal to raise this money for our parks.
Yeah, I've heard that about Bro Hearts. Not only about the home brewing stuff, but any sort of plumbing needs you have, obscure stuff.
Oh, the
Yes,
store's
everything.
gorgeous. It's a
Yeah.
gorgeous store. It's like a level store. It's an old school store, but it's a really nice store in Scottsdale.
Well, you got a free plug there, Bro Hearts. If I happen to,
Well, Wes, I will plug Wes as much as possible because he definitely deserves the recognition. He's won. I think he's won several times for his brews too. We used to do the judging, and then it got just too, it's too difficult. So now we just go to having a crowd favor where people put tickets in bags and give away. We're going to do something different this year for the awards for the winners, but we give out cash prizes plus we're going to give an award with it each winner this year too. So it's cool. Somerset Trust Company has sponsored our glasses in like the last 3 or 4 years. So you get a pint glass when you come in with your $20.
I'm sure what's the word I'm looking for? You are in favor of designated drivers.
100%.
Okay.
Definitely. I wish that's one thing that we here in Fayette County don't have, or Uber drivers. And
trust me, as a
we
bar
don't,
owner,
you know what I mean. It's a shame. That's
no
one
taxi
thing.
service, nothing.
You know what I mean, because that's something that is a definite need. I mean, when you go to other cities, it's like you don't even think twice. I mean, you're on your phone, you bring up the Lyft app or the Uber app, and 5 minutes you got a car sitting there picking you up. I mean, that's why I just hope that we can get to that point where we have 20, 30 drivers doing it, and we can have that every. I do think there would be a need. If we had it, they would make money doing it. We definitely need it because that's one thing that.
Well, it's needed not only for the bars and restaurants, but just for the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That fact bus can only go so far.
Yeah, that, and that's the thing. The county needs to enforce that fact bus system. Is a really great system, but it needs to be expanded.
True.
I have people like messaging me about it, saying, "Hey, it ends at 9 o'clock. Why can't we go to midnight? I work. My shift takes me till 11." And that's true. I mean, we have people. We got to look at it. If people don't have transportation and they depend on that bus, then we should investigate that and see, maybe try a couple of test runs and see how many people use it from 11 o'clock or to midnight. The county might really be surprised that they're going to get a lot more usage out of it, especially for encouraging people to work.
To work.
And not live off the system. You know what I mean? That's that when because believe me, when that person had reached out to me, I immediately forwarded on to the county commissioner and said, "Hey, look, maybe this is something you guys should be discussing because, we definitely want to have that." We don't, the girl was basically saying, "Hey, I got to walk. I'm basically walking home in the dark and this and that," and that's right. I mean, we should have those transportation available.
That's not even a perk to an area now. Now it's a necessity, and people just don't drive like they used to. And
well, I mean, gas is
$3
a gallon, and it's like people don't realize.
If
When you're on a budget, it's
right.
tough.
Right. Hey, I know. I could. I know all the bars and restaurants would benefit greatly from having someone to take them home. If excuse me, I've dealt with the LCB before, asking questions at seminars and what have you, and they brought up make sure you have a Lyft or Uber. And I'm like there is no Lyft or Uber where and the guy would look at me like the agent would be like, "Oh, come on." I'm like, no, there's no program. There's no taxi service. There's no Lyft. There's no Uber. There's nothing. There's no way to get somebody from point A to point B other than.
Listen, there's places in this county that don't even have high-speed internet.
True.
You know what I mean? So that's what we struggle out in the country. You know what I mean? That's the struggle every day.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so difficult. So many things that we need. But we're out in the country, so we're not as important as it is when you're a big city like Pittsburgh, and they have everything, and they have the tax base, of course.
And Fayette County's so poor to begin with.
And and I don't know why we have to be. That's the thing. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, now it's getting good. Come on.
Well, I mean, we have. I was just saying yesterday, we have the best outdoor amenities in this whole Commonwealth. With flowing water. And Ohio State Park, not even talking about Nemacolin and Hidden Valley and Seven Springs, and we have everything in this area that attracts millions of people to this county every single year.
And a turnpike nearby that can bring people to it.
We have all of that. People come here, they spend their money here. Why we don't have more development and we don't have more
business? jobs.
You know, I know that you know that the big thing now is, when Texas Roadhouse came in and they couldn't find employment because people couldn't pass the drug test. So of course, that gives Fayette County another black eye that we don't. Everybody's on drugs here, which is not true. It's absolutely not true. But that's a problem. I mean, we try so hard to have a positive image, and it takes one thing to knock us back down. That's the thing that, to me, my personal thing, I battle every day because I want people to see that we do live in a great community.
Well, there's a certain stigma of Fayette County. If you're in Pittsburgh and you tell somebody you're from Fayette County, you get a look sometimes.
And the thing is that and a lot of those people have never been here.
Right.
They're judging us off of news stories on the Pittsburgh news.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, of a single incident,
Which,
and it's just terrible.
Which I'll say I've been guilty of watching the news and laughing when they always, every time there's the news on and it's something that happened in Uniontown or Connellsville or somewhere in Fayette County, and they always choose the guy that has no shirt, no teeth, standing there like he's half drunk, and they're asking him questions, and it'll say at the bottom of the screen, Fayette County man.
Yep.
And it's just like, now, I mean, I'm guilty of laughing at that because I'm thinking, like, why do they have to do that? I'm sure there's half a dozen other people standing on the street there, but they're like, grab that guy. Let's interview that guy.
Yeah, listen, I have a hard time watching the news, and then when somebody says Fayette Nam in my presence, it just makes my blood boil. It's not that's one stigma that we should not ever say. We don't want people to say that because it's not a good term. It's not. It's a very negative thing to say about our county.
Hey, do you? I interviewed several of the county commissioners, and that was a big thing that Kevin Jones. He was like he was really adamant about like how he hated Fayette Nam and that terminology.
Listen, it's disgusting. I mean, it really is. It's a disgusting term. And it's just. It's uncalled for. It really is. I mean, just everything. Something happens. Oh, it's Vietnam. We're in Vietnam. I'm sorry.
I agree that's uncalled for. But I'll still say that you and I are Dunbarbarians.
I'm okay with that term. I'm okay with that term.
Okay.
I love growing. Dunbar. I still always loved Dunbar. I had a great childhood in Dunbar, and of course my mother and brother still live down there and live there, and I'm there almost every day with my work, and I do. I love Dunbar. Dunbar is a wonderful community, and they're getting ready to see the benefits of the bike trail.
It's a hidden jewel. It's a time capsule in itself.
It is. I mean, listen. When I moved back from South Carolina 11 years ago, we tried to find a home in Dunbar. There was nothing available. I mean, people are living there. I mean, nice houses go for sale in Dunbar. There's people buying.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not. That's another thing. Dunbar always got a. Kind of a bad.
Got a bad rap.
Got a bad rap, and I love it. I had a wonderful childhood there. I think Dunbar and Connellsville are two wonderful communities. They have wonderful people, and that's what it takes. It takes a lot of people to work hard. Most of the people that do everything in Connellsville are volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got some awesome city employees. Vern Oller and Janine Brooks are been combined of. One 41 years with the city, and the other's 38 years with the city. That's what it takes.
It's amazing.
Dunbar has Tammy Nedrow, and she is just like Vern. When you love your town and you do everything for it, you give up your whole life and serve and do. And I'm gonna tell you, when he decides to retire, which I hope I'm no longer on council when he does, we're gonna be in a world of hurt because he is. I mean, he's like me. I mean, he really is like me. It's like. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week for me, and that's the mentality of.
I'm sure you were aware that I'm the poet laureate of Dunbar.
Yes.
Yeah, the official poet laureate of Dunbar. I'll explain on another time. This is Greg. This is Greg's dime here. Okay.
So are we live?
No, this isn't live, but I'll edit it. This is.
I see a number 2 up there. I just didn't know if that was like 2 people were watching us. So man, we have an audience.
No, I could make it live. That's a second camera you're seeing.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Time Open Brew is a big event this fall for the city. September 7th. I just want to throw this out here because September 7th.
Give me a calendar of events. Give me a rundown of things that are happening.
Well, on the weekend of September 7th, which September 7th is a Saturday, there is going to be activity in the city from morning until night. We're gonna kick off that day with Amish donuts are back. I don't know if you've ever had the Amish donuts. It's amazing to see people stand in line for these humongous. I mean, when I tell you humongous donut, I mean they're like $2 for one donut, and probably 4 people can eat it. And excuse me. And the funny thing is that some people that have never ordered them before go up and get a dozen of them,
Not knowing.
not knowing. Pay all that money and they get this bag, you get 2 bags full of donuts. Like, what the heck am I going to do with all these donuts? They're going to be set up downtown. The Chamber of Commerce is having their fall community yard sale day, which that'll be all over the city. Wellness on Yawk kicks off from 11 o'clock down at Yawk Park. Kelly Tony has done an amazing job organizing this event. They have like 71 vendors so far going to be set up down there, all health and wellness. There's going to be entertainment on the stage, food vendors, and it's going to be a wonderful, cool day to be down at Yawk Park. You know, if you're into that, be healthy and
Sure.
all those different types of there's a lot of fitness groups are all going to be there. Fit Fam Studio is going to be there, and other gyms.
I saw there's a mural going up on the west side too.
Yes.
What's that all about?
The Cultural Trust basically took not bids, but took submissions for some public art to go on the Independent Italian Club
Right.
building on the west side,
Yeah.
and also on the side of a building on our downtown. And they chose 2 Pittsburgh mural artists. And the one on the west side, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, Jeremy, I'm trying to think of his last name.
I just saw
Jeremy Raymer, I think is his name. He's doing an amazing job, and he's doing all 3 sides. So, like, he's going to be living in
Wow.
Connellsville for months.
Okay.
He's on all 3 sides. So it's going to be an absolutely amazing thing to see. And I'm thinking maybe probably by October he's going to be done, because one cool thing that recently happened is actually going to be coming out this week is that there's an organization in Pittsburgh. They're called Scenic Pittsburgh, and they're giving Connellsville an award, the very first award they've ever given out. And I basically want to say it's because we're badasses for what we've done.
Sure.
You know, it's cool. I mean, most of the people that are on our groups and they work, they're not doing it for pats on the back, and they're not the glory. They're doing it for the love of the town.
Right.
You know, they live here. We live in the community. They want the community to be good. So
Right.
this Scenic Pittsburgh recognizing Connellsville's efforts is really cool. And it's
That
going to
is
be so on October 16th, they're going to have a press conference on that at the west side in front of that mural to present the award to the city. And so it's I'm proud of a lot of people, you know, because we've worked hard.
I'll
You know,
try.
over the last 6-10 years, you know, we've worked very, very hard, and you know, the Highlands Hospital, their rebirth. You got a hospital that was basically on the verge of closing because, you know, they had lost a county contract. Basically got split up between them and Newtown Hospital, and it really put a hurting on them. But Michelle Cunningham, who was the CEO at the time, and she put the boots to the ground, and they worked their butts off, and they got out of this, and you know, she passed the reins over to John Andorski, who's now the CEO of the Highlands Hospital, and they have a really awesome team of people that refuse to let this hospital die, and thank God for us, because it's the largest employer of the city. I mean, they have over 400 jobs, almost 500 jobs there. When they brought the Zach Connell School, and they put the autism school in there, and they got the Women's Health Center, and the future looks bright with them. And they're just expanding, so it's going to help the city even more. You know, so that's one cog. You know, one of the wheel that we have is Highlands. I mean, they're a big part of the city. So we try to do everything we can for them, and because I mean, without that hospital, Connellsville would be devastated. Because I mean, you lose that many jobs, and because that's basically what happened when the anchor closed. We lost all their jobs, and people had to, they had to leave. They had to go find employment. It wasn't in Connellsville. So I'm very, very hopeful for the future for the Highlands Hospital. And then, we got, it's like every group that does their own specific thing. We have the Yuck Trail Council. I mean, those, they're not spring chickens either. And those guys, they come out, and men and women come out, and when they have trees fall down over the trail, and and all that. I mean, they're working. They go out. I mean, it's every single day, and most of them are part of other organizations too. You know, we have the Lions Club, and you got the garden club who does all the beautification of through town and all the flowers and gardens. And you know, they're doing a huge project at Cameron Park where they're trying to redo that whole park. And then, you know, you got the Friends of the Library, and you got our Parks and Recreation Board, and you got the Rotary and Chamber, and, you know, it's like we have so many organizations that basically we're all being recognized for our efforts by City of Pittsburgh when they come here in October. And I'm really proud to be a little part of that, because it's a cool thing when somebody from the outside world, especially something from Pittsburgh, recognizes the great efforts that are going on in Connellsville. And it's going to be a boost to us, you know.
Well, okay, we're going to wrap this up here pretty soon. But we're 3/4 way through the year, so we didn't get a chance to talk about some of the events prior, some of the stuff that we had downtown that you were instrumental in bringing to the area. So let's give a wrap about everything that does happen around here, not that's just about to happen.
Well, you know, every summer we have the Draining Festival, which is Memorial Day. That's the Garden Club's event. Basically, it kicks off the summer for us. You know, it's our summer of events. The Garden Club kicks off every year, and it's a great community event, because they get all the nonprofit organizations in town, and they come and they set up tents and they sell food, and you know, it's a nice little fundraiser for all these groups that support Connellsville. The Rib Fest has turned into an amazing festival for the city. You know, Fayette Festivals has done a great job organizing that.
I know all your festivals are successful because whenever you have them, I slow down.
Well,
but that's okay.
Well, of course, that is definitely not the intention. Just so
but
you know.
But I know that everyone is there.
You know, we've been fortunate. You know, most years we have good weather. This year we had hit or miss weather. Still was a good weekend. You know, because the whole goal of having an event like that and something that big is to get people into the city. That's all I want to do. I want people to come here, check us out.
Sure.
You know, because I really do. First impressions is a big deal.
Any impression,
you
just
know,
to get them
we
in
have
there.
Our public works do an amazing job with their keeping the city clean, parks cleaned up. You know, if you're coming off that trail and you're getting to see a nice part of the city, and then when you go to our small businesses there, you know, restaurants, they're having a good. I've heard nothing but positive feedback from bikers. You know, with Kickstand and Rubo's and Keys. Heck, they're going to Bud's, and you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was unfortunate we lost El Canelo, our Mexican
Right.
restaurant downtown, but thankfully Armando and Maria went over to Agave. They're on 119 and took
Mm-hmm.
over that business, and it's wonderful. And I go in there, and we eat there a lot, and it's nice to go there and see that the place. You know, every time we go in there, probably they have 8 or 10 tables going when we're there, so it's nice that people are supporting that business. But it's just. The Rib Fest is definitely a wonderful event for us, and you know, we're actually going to start. Our city clerk has always wanted to do a food truck event. So September 7th, after Wellness on the Yawk ends at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
At 5 o'clock downtown, we're going to be doing a food truck roundup.
How many food trucks are there locally? I know there's a few.
Well, we've been branching out all over the Tri-County area to
Okay.
get food trucks.
Wow.
Because it's so late in the game, there's so many events going on, and these trucks get booked up. So we're still getting them coming in. So we're hoping to have at least 6 food trucks for the event. It's going to be from 5 to 11.
Will that be
downtown?
downtown or the River Park?
It'll be right where the Rib Fest was.
Okay. Yeah.
The stage is going to be right on Apple Street, I'm sorry, and then we're going to close down Arch Street, and they're going to have food trucks. We're going to have beer and wine for sale. Christian Clay Winery is supposed to be there. Fungus is going to be our first band. We are almost booked. We almost have the second band confirmed. We should have it tonight, so we're going to start making announcements and getting people excited for it. But it's just going to be a cool little evening. Come down, listen to some great music, eat some food truck food, have a couple beers, and just hang out in our downtown. You know, that's the part of it is to come hang out in the city for the night and have fun and go home. You know what I mean? It's just it's one of those things. I mean, we just got so much going on, and it's just cool to be a part of all of it.
Well, you're making Connellsville a destination now instead of someplace to avoid.
Well, I mean, and the thing is that we have a highway. We have a major highway that runs through our city. You know, we have the busiest intersection in Fayette County is at Sheets, the Five Corners. It's like 12 or 13,000 cars a day. They're coming through Connellsville. And the hardest part for us is to have and get people to stop, to get them to turn
Right.
down Crawford Avenue and go see our eateries there, our small businesses there. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And and we're slowly going to develop that 119 corridor too. And we have new development coming, which I'm excited for. And just
New development.
new development coming in. You know, listen, this C. Harper up here.
I was just about to go to there.
You know, C. Harper, it's funny, you know, when I say backwards thinking, you know, they were spending almost $3 million up here on this property here in Dunbar Township.
Right.
And you have people saying, oh, why do we need any more cars?
Right. Who's going to buy these cars?
Who needs another car lot? We don't need any car lot. We need a Dunkin' Donuts. You know, and I try to tell them that $3 million investment is so huge. See, Harper is a huge company. And what that's going to do is, and I guarantee you're going to see some effects of that because
Business
when they
brings
open,
business. That's what I've been.
they're going to come up to here because people are going to come from Morgantown and they're going to come from all over to car shop at C. Harper here in Connellsville. And when they do, they're going to get hungry, and we got to have places. Where they're going to go? They're going to come to Hutch's. They're going to go into the city. They're going to spend money. It's going to bring in more revenue for this community. This area is going to benefit from that car dealership. And I'm praying to God that when they open, that they finally develop around Walmart, because I swear to you that this Walmart is probably the only one I've ever been to that does not have a strip mall or doesn't have other businesses around it. So I'm hoping that C. Harper is a jump start to get other things. I've been told that there's something going in beside across for where Met Express. Because you get the rumors. And,
I hear rumors on everything. Yeah.
you know, we have two fast food restaurants in Connellsville. I mean, they've been there for 25 or 30 years now. It's unbelievable to me, and that we don't have
4.
What are they?
Dairy Queen, KFC.
That's not I'm saying in the city.
Oh, aren't they? Okay.
That Dairy Queen.
That's not in the city.
No, that's not the city. It's township.
Okay.
I'm just saying in the city itself.
All right.
We have two. We have Wendy's and we have McDonald's. Soon we'll have our third drive-through, which people, I tell
Which
her
is that? What's that going to be?
Zia Maria's, which is Peachins. They're going to
Yeah,
be opening up their new bakery and coffee and
I didn't know they were doing
donuts.
drive-through.
They have a drive-through. It's amazing. People don't realize what they take for granted. You go to places and they have 50 places that have drive-throughs. Getting a third one is a huge deal. I mean, it is, because professionals at work, they're looking for alternatives besides Sheets or McDonald's to get other types of coffee and donuts. And then Zia Maria's is going to have a full gamut of donuts and donut holes and cookies and
Well, I've been talking.
everything.
Even here, I mean, the landscape's changing on restaurants altogether. I've been talking to Grubhub. They want to do delivery. They have me signed up.
That's cool.
Get that started.
Hey, listen, it's worth a try. That's how I look at it. Right? You know what I mean? That's why I said we have the local business owners. The amount of money that they've invested, that they continue to invest in the city, and it's unbelievable. You have Puppy, who the amount he has invested in Connellsville and out in the country club, and I swear to you, I don't know if how old he'll be when he sees all that return back. But he's another one. He's not just doing it, to make all this money. He's doing it because he's from here. He wants to make this area better, and that's what he does. And we're lucky to have people like him. I really are. I mean, it's just we're fortunate. We are. And I try so much to tell people how important it is to support the business centers that we have. Because if you don't support them, we're not going to have any businesses. It's great. I will say this, that I'm very bitter over the Permane Brothers thing, because we found out last year probably that they are looking at Fayette County, and I'm going to tell you that the amount of time and effort that our city clerk and I have spent just to try to get a meeting with them, because that's all I want. I think that we have a team of people that we could sit down with any bigger business, and really spin their heads, and see how amazingly put together we have a plan that we could show them how much their business would mean to the city and what we would do and have to offer. And I think we could compete, but we never got that opportunity. So I'm very bitter over that, which probably I don't know if I'll ever, I don't know if I'll ever eat there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just really bitter over it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we really, did we need it from any brothers? No. I mean, Kickstand Kitchen probably makes one of the best sandwiches
Right.
they do. I mean, they make amazing food down there. And listen, I think it was last week they served their 10,000 order.
Really?
Yes, I mean, they're people are
Right.
coming there, and but you know what it is? They're getting that full benefit of the bike trail. But the local, it's sparingly. You know what I mean? Which should be different. Everybody around here should be supporting our restaurants here and going and trying them and supporting them. But it's slow. It's a slow thing. But I'm going to tell you, the Kickstand is one of the Jeremy and Jill. I mean, they're another one. I mean, the amount of money they invested in that building and the city of Connellsville, I mean, is unbelievable. And we're so fortunate that they did. And I want to make sure that they see their return tenfold, because that's just they deserve the support.
I met Jeremy when he was cooking at Headkeepers. He was a cook over at Headkeepers.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He loves, and that's why, Kickstand Kitchen and Ruvo's Italian Restaurant are our two food vendors again this year for Tango and Brew. It's a wonderful combination. I mean, Anthony, his meatballs are world famous.
Right.
We have Bud's world famous pizza, and we have world famous meatballs, and it's a perfect good food to eat when you're drinking beer.
Yeah.
They have a nice combination.
I know
of food.
Anthony brings his wife and kids out here. So I really like Anthony.
And that's the cool thing is that business owners support business owners, and you can go try other people's food. And I know that Anthony is always thinking of ways to improve his business. I mean, it's like little Italy at his building. And like I said, there's another one. We have good restaurants in the city, and we just let me just say this: we have good restaurants in the city and out of the city. Because I try everybody. If your zip code is 15425, you're Connellsville, and we're all in it together. That's why I have to look at that much. So I try to come out here or go out to Fox's Tavern and others that are outside the city limits, because you support everything goes on in Connellsville. The Fox family supports everything that goes on in Connellsville.
Well, my zip code is 15431. Unfortunately.
Here's 15431.
Yeah.
Wow. So where does that end?
That ends where.
Probably at Bailey Machine.
No, it ends where Luigi's was. The line cut diagonally across 119 there. That's 15425. Luigi's on 15431.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, or ex-Luigi's.
Hopefully, they work on that building across the street. Like gangbusters. So hopefully, who knows what's going to happen there?
I've heard different rumors about that too.
Yeah, so it would be nice for you to have another business besides you, because I definitely think that would help.
Oh yeah, business brings business.
Yeah, I mean, it
just
does.
in the town.
That's the thing, and we have I don't know, I was going to say 1 million pizza shops in Connellsville, and they're all open. They're still open. People are still eating pizzas and wings.
That's the
Hutch's
Cuckoo Clock.
Awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, so it was good.
We have all kind of sound bites going on here.
I love it, and you don't even have it, and it's not computer generated.
No.
It's just hanging on the wall. It's so awesome.
Tweety Bird and Sylvester clock.
Yeah.
Come out to Hutch's and see some of the strange paraphernalia I have all over
Just
the
the
place.
beer taps you have. I mean, one day you have a lot of antiques in here. I love coming in here. Just I try to look around and see if you added something or it's something new, and because it is. It's like a museum in here. You could take all day looking at everything.
I remember from the days you used to come in here and haggle with Jim about South Carolina Gamecocks. That you were a college football fan. I don't know if you still are.
I'm going to be a Gamecock until I die.
Okay, how about pro football?
I follow the Steelers. I definitely do. I'm not a diehard fan. I mean, the professional sports has kind of faded on me. I don't know.
I think most people
just because the way that and you can't blame the players for trying to get all the money they can get, and they have to leave. And I mean, it's a business. I mean,
if the owners make it.
I mean, it's how it works. But I am 100% college football through and through. I mean, I'm Gamecock. I mean, I follow everything South Carolina. I mean, we're in the SEC, and it's the hardest, one of the toughest conferences in the country, and they always picked us to finish last. So we're always the
underdog.
They always it's like we play playoffs for homecoming, you know. But you know, we have our years, and we get ranked, and you know, it's tough. But I'm hopeful. Every year, I'm hopeful that we're going to win a national championship, and you know, it'll be unbelievable run to do it because we have the hardest schedules, you know, every year. And well, I'm actually going to a game. I'm going to be married for 20 years come September.
Wow.
20 years.
Man.
So Leah and I are going to go to South Carolina for
That's
celebrate
awesome.
our anniversary, and we actually play Alabama that weekend. And
I mean, you look that old, but your wife doesn't. She still looks like she did when she was a kid coming here with you.
Listen, she takes very good care of herself. But I will say the cool thing about our anniversary this year is that we're going to finally renew our vows in the church.
That's wonderful.
So we're going to be our church will recognize our marriage finally after 20 years. And my mother has been like ecstatic. You just don't believe how happy she is with that. So it's going to be cool to have Father
Around
Bob.
here?
We're going to do it at IC Church. Father Bob's
Okay,
going to renew
yeah.
our vows. We're going to have just our immediate family and have a little get together after at our house. Our actually anniversary is on a Wednesday, so it'll be a weeknight celebration.
Father Bob comes in here about once or twice a week for a steak, and I told him, I asked him, and he told me that he'd do a podcast with me. So hopefully I can get him up here. That'd be fun.
Let me tell you something. You would definitely get a very intelligent person. I mean, he's reading like it seems like he reads 5 books a week. He's full of knowledge. You guys definitely would have a wonderful discussion. Because that's one thing about Father Bob is that he's not afraid to talk about any issue. You can have civil conversations with him. And
Well, you hear that, Father Bob? Yeah, I'm sure you're going to catch wind of this podcast. You told me you'd do it, so now you're on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, because I did it. I mean, he always has to one-up me for everything. Because we are the dynamic duo. You know, we do everything together. So.
Okay, that's which one of you is Robin?
He has to be Robin.
Does he?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
Robin.
it's the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm built better than him, so I have to be Batman.
Okay. I can honestly say I never looked at either one of yours physique in that manner, but I'll trust you.
But we both work out at Snaps. It is amazing to see him work out because he likes the elliptical machine, and he is able to go like 16 miles an hour on the elliptical machine and read a book at the same time. And I just don't know how a person does that. Like, it's amazing to me because like when I run on the treadmill and I lift weights, and I can't concentrate on reading a book. So, but he does that. I mean, it's amazing to watch. He's not the only one that does that too. It's pretty amazing to see people do
Well,
that.
your mind's it's just the gears are turning about what can you do for the city, and then you're civic minded, and that's all you're thinking about, right?
24/7. I'm telling you right now. It's like, and it's like I said, it's nice to have a person like Vern Ulrich, because like, I mean, I'm sure that I've taken years off of his life because he's my like therapist and BFF. Everything, you know, like we discuss everything, and it's easy because like he is on the same level as me as commitment to making the town better, and we're very fortunate. We have a lot of dedicated employees in the city, and that is a huge asset because those individuals go above and beyond what they are their job description. You know, if people stayed with their job description, we would be a lot less, believe me, because we would be hurting.
Well, I can say that I know you, and I know that you put everything you have into it. You've done that for a long time, right?
Yeah, like I said, I have one switch. It's on.
That's it.
It's on and it's full throttle, and you know, I try my best not to let it ruin my day, but sometimes it does. Now tomorrow, one thing I don't really care for on council is our monthly meetings. I just never like going to our meetings. It's too contained for me. You know, I like to be out. But tomorrow night.
Are you finally going to have them wired so you can hear them on time?
Well, we have the microphone. It's definitely gotten better. We got the wired microphones over the podium and in front of us.
Okay.
It's
That's always been my
definitely
pet peeve. I would try to watch it, and I can't hear it.
Well, you got to turn before you had to turn your TV up as loud as you go. People thought we were doing that on purpose. You know, conspiracy theorists.
What, you weren't?
Like we were keeping it low so you couldn't hear. Believe me.
You mean you weren't?
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So you know, we definitely have improved that. But tomorrow night is going to be a really cool meeting for us. Excuse me. this past July, we had the 37th annual Johnny Woodruff 5K run walk. It's the biggest race we have in the city every year. You know, we get over 500 people. It's always super, super hot. I swear to you, this year is probably the hottest they've ever had. During the race, one of our competitors had a medical emergency and collapsed. They were basically dying on West Gibson there, and another competitor, Jace McLean, stopped immediately, started going CPR on him.
Wow.
Minister CPR basically saved his life until the Fayette EMS was there to do their job.
The actual stuff.
And amazingly, you know, he was taken immediately to the hospital. The next day, he had triple bypass surgery. Everything went well. He's doing good.
And if we didn't have Highlands Hospital.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Yeah.
I mean it's one of those things. They take them there first, and they see if it's a more thing that Highlands can't do, they transfer them on. But anyhow, the Johnny Woodruff Club is coming to our council meeting. We're gonna honor Jace McLean. He's the person who did this. They're gonna present him with some things, and the city's gonna recognize him with a citation. Donnie Lint, who he saved, is going to be there too, so it's going to be a pretty cool reunion. I think you're another individual, because this isn't the first time that Jace actually saved somebody's life. I know it was last year, the year before, there was an adult football game when the guys went down and had a heart attack, and he gave CPR, brought him back, and saved his life. So I think that individual's coming too, which I don't think Jace knows, so it's going to be pretty cool if he is there.
Wow.
So you're going to get to see two people that they're still alive today because of his heroic action. So it's going to be a fun start of our meeting, and the whole Connellsville Falcon football team's coming because Jace is a coach for the Falcons. So it's, the two girls that beat me handily on it, which are the main mayor for the day, they're going to be there. To me, it's a wonderful thing for kids to see this kind of positivity, because that's so much negative in our world. So I try to, as much as possible, show these kids that there are a lot of positive things happening in our community, not just all negative. So it's going to be awesome to have them there and support Jace, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a really cool beginning of our meeting, and then we got to get into after they leave, we'll get back to the
Business at hand.
Business at hand, which we got a lot going on, we have to take care of tomorrow. So,
well, I appreciate the visit, and I want to start wrapping this up now because we have an hour show here, and that's about.
Hey, listen,
it flies.
I'd talk all night, buddy.
We will do this again.
I'm in. You know that. We just got to. What you have to do with me is you got to tell me the day and time, and then it's scheduled, and then there's no getting out of it. I'm coming.
I told Greg via text, how about Monday we do this, and I didn't hear from him, and this was last Wednesday, and around 4 o'clock today I get, how's 6 or 7? And he didn't tell me yes, he didn't tell me no. Fortunately I had nothing to do tonight, and I wanted to get this done, and I wanted to give him his gift certificate. That's how I bribed him to come out here, by telling him I would give him his gift certificate for Tangled Up and Brew when he got here. When he got here, I'd hand it to him. That way I knew I'd get him on air, on HTR on air the first time, and now I know it won't be the last because I can tell he already has the bug.
Oh, listen, I put a microphone in front of me. I'm on that thing all night long.
But you know what? I can set somebody here. I can set somebody. We can get up to 5. I wanted to build this up to What do you guys out there think if we on Tuesdays, not every Tuesday, but if we had like a live show from Hutch's here, and we can have Greg and whoever else, whatever prominent guests we can find out of the city or area or who knows might be passing through, and kind of do a live show from Hutch's. I think that would be fun. What do you think?
I think it'd be great. And I also think Vern Oler will be a good, really good guest. Guys full of. Listen, I tell everybody, if Vern doesn't know the person or he doesn't know this, then nobody knows.
It's not worth knowing.
Who knows? I mean, seriously. I mean, he is full of knowledge. I mean, at some point, he should sit him down and just let him start talking into a video camera so he can save everything that he knows. So when he's no longer in that position, that we'll be able to carry on.
That's something I wanted to. This is off subject. I'm gonna blow it by you. When I first became poet laureate of Dunbar, I want your opinion on this, and then you tell me what you think. If I set it up in Dunbar, or if I could even set it up in Connellsville, or both. I wanted to set up at the library in Dunbar one day a month where people could come in and tell me their stories, like the old people that live up in the mountains. So we don't lose that knowledge. So we don't lose
Right.
that way of life is going to be gone. It's probably the last generation. There's still some. We've lost a lot already, but there's still some stories and ways of life and people that we could document. Just how they could sit down in front of a camera. They could just talk about their parents, their grandfather, how they grew up, how they had no running water, the snow, and how harsh life was, and,
Right.
and what mountain life was like.
I think you'd have a line out the door to people that wouldn't want to do that. Connellsville did that a couple years ago. They did it at the library, where they had people come in. I forget the name of the series, but they videotapes. I mean,
That's what I wanted to do.
so many people that they got their story. It's on tape. I forget the name of the series. It was really cool. I think my mother actually participated in that, and because they were just, I forget what it was. I can't remember the name now, but it was really cool. I'm telling you right now, you would definitely have
I work
people
on it.
lined up the door to do that, because it would be something that they could forever have.
Right, or they can even talk about like somebody that would be in their 50s could talk about their grandparents. But especially if the grandparents were still alive,
Right.
that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I definitely. I mean, that's something that people don't realize today is that like grandparents, they're just so full of knowledge, and that they've done things and seen things and know things that once they're gone, you're never going to get that. back.
Life's changed so much, and we've gained so much, but we've lost equally as much. So.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up. This was great fun today, guys. Look up there, and Greg, because that's how you doing. Yeah, fun. The Fonz.
Hey now.
This won't be the last of Greg Lincoln, the Connellsville mayor, and he's doing a fine job, and I really enjoyed having him stop and leave some comments below. I'm going to put this on his page, my HTR on our HTR on air page, my Hutch's Tap Room page. I'll run it on several Connellsville pages just so it gets out there, because I want Greg's message to get out to everybody that's out there. Everybody that wants to know Greg can get to meet him a little bit through this podcast. Okay, well, thanks, buddy.
Hey, thank you, and appreciate it. And to everybody out there in the social media world, come visit Connellsville. We got a lot going on, and would love to have you visit and see what all the great things that are going on in the town.
Connellsville, Pennsylvania, 15425.
Boom.
That's the way to look it up on Google. And this is the mayor, and he's responsible for a lot of the things that are happening around here. Thanks. Over
Thank
and
you.
out.